On June 5th, a man walked into the police station, easily recognized as a priest by his clothing. He introduced himself as Sai Krishna and said he wanted to report his niece's disappearance. He explained that he had dropped Apsara off in the Shamshabad area 2 days earlier, on the night of June 3rd, around 8 p.m. She was supposed to meet her friends and go to Bhadrachalam. Since then, she hadn't come back home or reached her destination, and her phone was switched off. As the last person to see Apsara before she went missing, the police decided to question Krishna first. During the interrogation, he claimed that he picked Apsara up from her home on June 3rd and that they went for a drive. He said he wasn't supposed to take her back home but instead drop her off in Shamshabad, where she would continue to Bhadrachalam. After he dropped her off, he lost contact with her because her phone was off the next day, June 4th. He and Apsara's mother searched for her but couldn't find any leads. The police checked Krishna's story by confirming with Apsara's mother that Apsara did leave with him on June 3rd. This gave some credibility to Krishna's claim. At this point, the police had no reason to doubt him, especially since Apsara's mother supported his account. This confirmation placed Krishna as the last person to see Apsara, making him an important part of the investigation. It also suggested that Apsara had planned to meet him, and there were no immediate signs that she was in any danger or unwilling to go with him. To further their investigation, the police sensibly decided to look at the CCTV footage along the 21-kilometer route from where Krishna picked up Apsara to Shamshabad, the place he claimed to have dropped her off. This was a smart move, as the police wanted to track Apsara's movements after leaving with Krishna and verify his story. While the footage did show Krishna picking up Apsara, it did not show him dropping her off in Shamshabad, which raised immediate red flags. Missing evidence like this is a critical concern in any investigation. The missing footage from a well-monitored route could be due to either intentional tampering or a technical malfunction, but the timing of its absence is highly suspicious. It suggests that something unexplained occurred when Krishna allegedly dropped off Apsara. This gap in the footage creates a missing link in the timeline, raising doubts about what happened between the time Krishna picked up his niece Apsara and when she was last seen. Given that CCTV cameras are generally reliable and cover major routes, the missing footage casts doubt on Krishna's version of events. When the police question Krishna again, his story starts to change, which is a major development. In criminal investigations, changes or inconsistencies in a suspect's statements often indicate that they are hiding something. Krishna's shifting story only increases suspicion. The investigation is now at a critical point. Initial information that Krishna picked up Apsara on June 3rd seems to hold up, but the missing footage of her drop-off and the changes in Krishna's account are shifting the focus toward him. While there is still no direct proof linking him to Apsara's disappearance, the inconsistencies and missing evidence suggest he may be involved. Under pressure, Krishna eventually confesses that Apsara is dead and that he killed her. But what led a man to take life of his own niece? Krishna's niece Kuruganti Apsara was a 30-year-old woman from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Before her tragic end, she went through a lot of difficulties in her life. She was married to Kartik Raja, a software engineer, but their marriage was filled with money problems and issues related to dowry and domestic violence. Apsara and Aruna wanted to live a lavish life, and for this, they forced Karthik to spend money at 5-star hotels and star parties, buying jewelry, imported dresses, and expensive cosmetics. Raja had also taken a rupees 25 lakh loan, around $29,000, to foot the bills for Apsara's expenses. However, Karthik died by suicide after the mother and daughter duo filed a dowry harassment and domestic violence case against him, due to which he was jailed for 15 days. Apsara's mother-in-law Dhanalakshmi said that Apsara married her son just because he had a handsome salary, and to extort money from him, the two filed police cases. After his release from jail, he felt insulted and ended his life. After Kartik's suicide, Apsara and her mother moved to Hyderabad in April 2022, hoping for a new start and trying to avoid judgment from her in-laws. They chose to live quietly, changing their mobile phones and staying away from their past. Apsara's in-laws alleged her mother Aruna wanted to take advantage of Apsara's beautiful looks and encouraged her to become a heroine in Tamil movies. They met several directors and producers in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, but she failed the screening test. Her uncle Ayagari Venkat Surya Sai Krishna is a 36-year-old man from Hyderabad. He was working as a priest at a temple and also was a building contractor who built temples by collecting donations. His niece, Apsara, who worked in the cine field, in April 2022, Apsara visited her uncle Krishna's house in Sarornagar with her mother. Krishna, a temple priest, was a calm and respected figure in the neighborhood. During the visit, Apsara and Krishna had a chance to talk and get to know each other. One afternoon, while the family gathered at his house, Apsara went to the temple nearby to relax. Krishna noticed her and started a conversation, sharing his knowledge about the temple and its rituals. Apsara was interested and admired how peaceful and wise her uncle seemed. Over the next few days, Apsara visited the temple more often. She found herself drawn to Krishna's calm nature and deep understanding of spiritual life. Krishna, in turn, found Apsara's energy and beauty intriguing. Their connection grew stronger, and soon they crossed a line, beginning an affair with his own niece. It was a secret relationship that neither of them expected, but one they both gave into. But as time passed, Apsara became more impatient. By March 2023, she started asking Krishna to marry her. Krishna, however, felt trapped, but he couldn't find a way to end things with Apsara without upsetting her. The more he resisted, the more forceful and demanding she became. Apsara's constant pressure became too much for Krishna. What had once been a secret, exciting affair now felt like a burden. Unable to handle the situation, Krishna made a terrible choice, leading to a tragic end that no one could have imagined. Krishna admitted to killing Apsara because she had been pressuring him to marry her. Krishna, meanwhile, was already married and had 2 children. He had been involved in an extramarital affair with Apsara, and as he could not comply with her demand, he resorted to murdering her. Despite knowing he was already married, Apsara continued to be persistent and also threatened to expose their relationship of over a year if he turned her away. Apsara had recently aborted their pregnancy and forced him to leave his family and marry her. Sai Krishna picked up Apsara from home on the night of June 3, 2023, and went for a drive. On the outskirts of Shamshabad, they had an argument at an isolated place, and he smashed her head with a stone and then drove back to Sarornagar with the body and dumped it in a manhole at a deserted location near the Mandal Revenue Officer's office behind the temple he worked in. In an attempt to erase all evidence, Sai Krishna dumped 2 truckloads of soil on the manhole and also disposed of the victim's bags by setting it on fire. A day later, he went back to the same spot and then covered the manhole with concrete. He was furious and worried. When Apsara began to pressure him to marry her, Krishna found himself in a precarious situation. Not only was he already married with 2 children, but the fact that their relationship was with his niece made the scandal even more severe. Apsara threatened to expose their affair, which deeply frightened Krishna. The fear of losing his reputation and respect in the community was immense. For a priest, such exposure could lead to public disgrace, loss of his position, and a shattered family life. Krishna's desperation grew after Apsara had an abortion and pushed him to leave his family for her. This pressure created a sense of entrapment for him, leading to a tragic decision. Sai Krishna has been arrested and is currently undergoing trial. We hope he receives his sentence as soon as possible. After all, we are all human beings. Every one of us makes mistakes, but murder is never the solution. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel.